The little tin soldier. Peter was a lucky child. Besides always getting good marks at school, he had so many toys what they barely fit into the cupboards and onto the shelves in his room. The truth is that Peter loved playing with all his toys, but his favorite were the little tin soldier his parents had given him when he turned 10 years old. He had more than 100 little soldiers, and every afternoon when he got back from school he divided them into two groups, and battle would commence. Forward, brave soldiers, Peter cheered. Attack! Attack! There was one little soldier what stood out from the rest for his courage. It was one what was missing a leg. Peter toys held a secret. At night, while their owner was sleeping, they would edge fired with trees and come to life. And cars and trains fired up with engines. The princess of the cardboard castle waved her handkerchiefs. The little wooden horses trotted across the floor. They caused such a ruckus that it was a small fondness that Peter was able to sleep through it, as if nothing were happening. One of those nights, the little one-legged soldier met a beautiful ballerina, who, as fate would have it, was also made of tin. And of course, the brave little soldier fell head over heels in love with the beautiful ballerina. But the little tin soldier was very shy and could never find the right time to tell the ballerina what he loved her. Though he strove to hide his feelings, the other toys could not help but notice the glances he gave the ballerina. Until one night, the mischievous little devil who lived inside the jack-in-the-box said, "Hey, little soldier, stop staring at the ballerina." When he heard those words, the little tin soldier turned as red as tomato, but the kind-hearted ballerina consoled him. "Don't pay any attention to that nosy devil. There's nothing I like more in this world than talking to you." Love blossomed between the two toys. They were so happy together, they believed that nobody and nothing could ever come between them. But they were wrong. One afternoon, Peter separated the little soldier from the rest of his companions and placed him on the windows of his room. "Stay here and make sure that no enemies get in," the child ordered him. The little soldier, who was very disciplined, followed Peter's orders. But the hours went by and the soldier was never relieved of his post. Suddenly a great storm broke out. A gust of wind shook the window where the soldier was perched, and he fell down onto the street. "Help!" shouted the soldier as he plummeted into the void. What a downpour! The rain came down in buckets and the wind blew fiercely. The streets soon filled up with puddles and streams, while people ran to take shelter from the driving rain. No one knows how long the storm lasted, but when it was finally over, the colors of the rainbow lit up a clear, calm sky. At that moment, two boys stepped out of a doorway where they had been keeping dry during the storm, and they saw the poor little tin soldier in the middle of a large puddle of water, sopping wet and shivering. "What a pity he only has one leg," one of the boys said. "Who cares?" replied the other. "We'll have lots of fun with him. You'll see." The two children saw how the water ran down the street like a little river. When one of them had an idea. "We can build a little paper boat and have a soldier sail in it." So just like that, the little tin soldier became an intrepid sailor. But sailing was actually not as easy as the two boys thought. The poor little soldier could barely stand up straight on the deck on the boat. "Oh, what will become of me?" the frightened little soldier asked himself. Just when a whirlpool swallowed up the paper boat, and he fell into a dark and smelly sewer. And even worse, it was full of rats with horrible sharp teeth. One of the creatures shouted of the soldier, "Hey, where do you think you're going?" "To sail through his sewer. You need to show us your passport." But before the soldier could answer, his boat, pulled by the strong current, came out into a river, where it was sunk by a great wave. "Just my luck. First was two rascals, then we rats, now we both sinking. I'll die and never see my beloved ballerina again," said the soldier to himself as his tin body sank into the depths of the river. He was about to drown when a huge fish swam up to him, opened its big mouth, and swallowed the soldier with a gulp. The fish swam out to sea with the tin soldier in his belly. Despite the damp and dark inside, the little soldier wasn't afraid. His only thought was being haunted with his love, the tin ballerina. When splashing sounds interrupted his thoughts, very surprised, the little soldier felt the fish begin to rise up. "Hey, what's going on?" shouted the soldier from inside fish's belly. The huge fish had been caught in a fishing boat's net. It was already dusk when the fishermen returned to the city with their nets full. Once at the port, the sailors loaded two fish into two large baskets and carried them to the city market. It just so happened that on that very day, Peter's mother decided to cook a delicious fish for dinner. And with that in mind, she headed for the market, where she took her time looking at the fine fish that were being sold on the stalls. After looking and looking, Peter's mother decided to buy the fattest fish of all. Returning home very happy with her purchase, Peter's mother gave her cook the fish. "My goodness, what a beautiful fish! I'll make a stew that will make their mouths water," the cook thought as she held it up, and with that she grabbed a knife, cleaned the fish, seasoned it and put into the oven. But one moment, what was that inside its belly? But it's Peter, little tin soldier who fell out of the window, the cook exclaimed, flabbergasted. The cook ran to Peter's room. "Here's the one-legged soldier you were looking for. I found him in the fish's belly," she said, very excited. What a surprise for Peter! Even since that rainy afternoon, he had lost all hope. He had lost all hope of finding his beloved little soldier. And now, as luck would have it, he had it with him again. "I missed you so much," whispered Peter to the little soldier as he held it in his hands. "Who knows what adventures you must have had since falling out of his window, of a window." "You can say what again?" the soldier thought, grinning from ear to ear. That night, before going to bed, Peter placed the little tin soldier on a shelf right next to the ballerina. How happy we two lovers were to see each other again. The little soldier spent all the night telling the ballerina all about his adventures. While the soldier talked and talked, she took his hands and gazed at him, her eyes bright with excitement. The next day, Peter decided to tidy up his room when he had placed all his toys on a table to put them away. A strong gust of wind came in through the window, and the poor ballerina, who was right on top of the pile, was swept into the fireplace. "No!" shouted the terrified little soldier when he saw the ballerina fall into the burning fireplace. Desperate, struggling to keep his balance with his one leg, the soldier tried to rescue the ballerina from the flames, but just when his fingertips were touching hers, the little soldier wobbled and fell into the fire too. Oh, what a terrible tragedy! The flames consumed the two lovers, and their teeny teen bodies began to melt. When something magical happened. When they had fallen into the fireplace, the two figures had ended up fused in a tender embrace. Little by little, the melted tin from their bodies formed a shape like a heart. When the fire finally went out, a large tin heart remained on top of the ashes. It was red and glimmered strangely. When he woke up the next morning, the first thing Peter saw was that heart lying among the ashes in the fireplace. As he dried the tears running down his cheeks, the boy thought, "The soldier and the ballerina are finally together and happy. They will be united in one heart forevermore." The end. Goodbye.